Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing great. Today I want to show you how easy it is to customize KDE. If you are interested in Linux, I'm sure you've seen setup showcases, especially with Arch Linux and Hyperland, and while they do look amazing, they require a lot of work to configure, and you have to do that through system files, you don't have a user interface. But KDE is a lot easier to do. If you are new to Linux, you might be asking what is KDE. KDE is a desktop environment, and the desktop environment provides the tools and the interfaces that help the user interact with the main operating system. For example, the application launcher right here, the fact that I can call this pop-up menu when I right click, and the way the windows are managed and they move. Aside from KDE, another very popular desktop environment is GNOME, which has more of an iPad feel to it. Let me show you a bit. It's a bit more bare-boned when it comes to customization. You don't have a lot of options. You can change the colors, background. In order to drastically change the looks of it, you have to install a lot of extensions. This is how the application launcher looks like. So as I said, a bit more of an iPad feel to it. But let's get back to KDE. Today I will try to replicate the exact setup that I have here in a fresh installation of Nobara Linux with KDE in a virtual machine. So let me just open it right here. First thing first, let's start with something easy. We go to the system settings, we scroll down to animations, we have here a few. You can set them to none, you can change the speed. Pick a desktop, I like to change it to this one. I will disable those, I don't really need them. Let's get into the desktop effects. You see right here the blur. If I open the application launcher, you can see the background of it right here. I disable blur, now it is transparent. I usually disable those because I don't really care for them. Translucency effect, when I move the window, nothing special happens. If I enable translucency and wobbly windows, now you can see that when I move the window, it's transparent and wobbly, obviously. The overview, the hotkey for this is Windows W. It shows you all your desktops, virtual desktop that you have enabled. You can also get new scripts. For example, this geometry change. I will just install it like this. It will appear in the menu right here, and to show you what it does, I'm using Windows plus an arrow to snap the window to a certain part of the screen. You see that it does so instantly. When I enable geometry change, you'll see that now it has a nice animation to it. Since we are here, let's also go to the task switcher. This basically changes how your Alt tab behaves. So for example, it looks like this, but I can change it to a different effect. Let me also include the pick a desktop, which basically simulates a window, but it actually just shows the desktop. And I can scroll through them like this. Let's get to the overall theme of the system. In here you have the global theme. You can see this one is the Nobara KDE theme, the custom one. Normally KDE comes with those three options right here, but you can also get new ones from the shop. For example, Sweet KDE, Lion, very popular. The colors can be changed based on the wallpaper that you have, or a custom color selected by yourself, or you can customize it. Just like that. And you can change a bit more than the color of the highlight. You can change the color of the background, the text, the buttons, and so on. The application style, if I select the MS Windows, you can see that it changed a bit the buttons and the scroll bar, but I prefer the Breeze one because I can also edit the transparency in here. So if you see this pop-up window, it's completely solid, the background. I changed the opacity to 70%, and now it is a bit transparent. The plasma style, this will change your panel right here. Again, you can get new ones from the shop. For window decoration, if I edit this, you can select the title alignment, button sizes, also a shadow. Right now it's set to black, but let me put it to white so you can see it better. I apply it, you can see this is how it looks. I'm not really a fan of it, so I will disable it. And you can also modify the buttons that appear at the top. You can, for example, keep above other windows, apply it, and you see the button appeared. Icons. Papyrus is installed by default on Nobara Linux. If you don't have it on your distribution, you can just go to the KDE shop and look for it. You can see it right here. The cursor, those are the only two options. Again, I'm going to the shop because I prefer Oxygen Black. Okay, fancy error. Let's try that again. And we look for the black, here it is. I install it, one click, very simple. I change the size and I apply it. System sounds, I don't really bother with those. Splash screen, don't really bother with this one. Again, you can get a new one from the shop. Same with the login screen. The fonts, you can change individual fonts for every category or just adjust all of them at once. Now let's go into customizing our terminal console. This is the default one. To customize it, you go to the settings, configure, profiles, add a new profile, name it however you want, make it the default. Go to appearance, we select, let's say, a base appearance red on black. We can edit it and put a background transparency to it. We apply, OK, this is the default, OK, now we close it, reopen it, and you can see now the writing is also red and the background is transparent. If you so desire, you can also do something like this. Remove window, title bar and frame. If you do that, you will have to close the application with a hotkey, Alt F4 by default. Dolphin is the file manager. You can see here the folders are purple. We can change that, so we open up the terminal, and to check if I have Papyrus folders installed, I'm going to do -- version, and it is installed. To see what you can do with this command, you can do -- help, and here you will have a few commands that you can do. So -C is to change the color, -L is to see the list of the colors. So let's see the list, and let's try out Carmine. Now it changed. We just have to close this instance and reopen it, and you can see the folders have changed the color. We can also change the color of the Dolphin application launcher itself. We can search it, right click on edit. We will search for all system application icons, and since when we are on Carmine, let us do this one, why not? No, home button. We click save. Now we have to close this one, the window, and you can see here the icon updated. If you don't have Papyrus folders installed, you can just open up a browser, search for Papyrus folders, and in the GitHub page you will have a command that does the installation very easily. Let's do something with the window opacity. You can do this to every window. I will just do it on the file manager right here. I right click, I go to more actions, configure special application settings, and I can do a forced opacity when the Windows is active. I don't suggest going below 90% because this doesn't make just the background transparent, it makes the whole window. So let me put it to 55% and show you. You can see the folders themselves are a bit transparent. If I put it to 95, it's usually just fine for me. So you can see it is a bit transparent, you can see the background, but not too much, so you are not able to see what is happening in the window itself. For the wallpaper, I like to use Wallpaper engine for KDE. It's not enabled, you don't see it in the list here, you have to get it as a plugin. You can see it right here, I'm installing it. But I also have to install some dependencies. So I have to open up a browser, search for Wallpaper engine for KDE. This is the person that maintains the GitHub page. And since Nobara is based on Fedora, I can just go to this link right here. And now there are only two commands that I have to do in the terminal. First I copy paste. In the terminal, Ctrl-Shift-V. Yes. And now the second command, Ctrl-Shift-V. Yes. We let it run and then it will install the dependencies that we need for the plugin to actually work. And now it should be done. We go back to desktop wallpaper, we can see here Wallpaper engine for KDE, and it's telling us to select the folder. We open up the library and it is in a hidden folder. I go to Dolphin, show hidden files, .steam, Steam. I simply copy the address from here and paste it in here. And okay, now you can see all the wallpapers are being shown and I can just change them. So let me try this one. And you can see that it works no problem. In Steam, something that I should mention, you have to go to the Wallpaper engine entry. You can see I already set it up. So you go to Properties. For once you select compatibility and I put Proton DG and game versions, Windows 7 support. Why do you want the Windows 7 support? There are some wallpapers that might crash your user interface. The type of wallpapers that don't crash it are video wallpapers, like this one, but scene wallpapers have a chance to crash your user interface. For example, this wallpaper would crash my user interface if I didn't select the Windows 7 support. Now it shouldn't, but I guess it does. It's probably something a bit weird with the fact that I'm on a virtual machine. If I go on my main machine, I select it, apply it, you can see everything is fine. It's probably some weird behavior. And usually when you crash the user interface, you won't have those menus, you won't have the application launcher, you will have to fix it by changing a system file. That system file is in the home directory, in the configuration, and this one right here. You can open it with Kate, which is the default text editor, and if you have multiple monitors, you will have multiple instances of those lines right here with Wallpaper engine. You have to search for the right one where the wallpaper that you selected is. In this case, the virtual machine only has one wallpaper, and to fix the crash, I just have to delete this line right here and then restart KDE. I showed this a bit more in my first video, if you are curious. Let's get into customizing the panel. Enter edit mode. Let's delete it. Oh, sorry, from here. Yeah. And now we have absolutely no panel. To add it, we add an empty panel, and here's something that you can do. Let me add 3 empty panels just for fun. You can see how they look, they overlap. Let's add a widget on this one, let's say clock. On this one, let's add a system tray. And on this one, let's add the application launcher, I guess. So something interesting that you can do, also very important, I suggest making small changes at a time, otherwise you risk crashing the user interface, and it's not a big problem, it will restart by itself, but all the changes that you made will be lost, so you will have to start over. If I go into the panel configuration, I select the panel, I want it on the right side, I put it to fit content, and it will go right here. Then I can select this one, I leave it on the center, I put the positioning in here, again fit content, and I can also do the same with this one, put it on the top, put it on the left side, and fit content. And now you can see I have basically 3 panels on the top side. Let's get back to replicating my setup. It happens like this. It will crash, nothing drastic will happen, but you'll have to redo the changes. And again, small changes at a time, otherwise you risk crashing just like you saw before. Very important, if you have a bar with system trays on multiple monitors, you should go to the settings of the status and notification. In here you can disable icons that you see in here, and on the other monitors I suggest disabling the notification icon, otherwise you are going to have some weird behavior where the pop-up notifications will either show on a side monitor or they will show on multiple monitors, and that is a bit annoying. Something else that you should do regarding notifications is go into system settings, search for notification, and select a custom position, because as I have it right here, the notification will show, at least for me it happened with multiple monitors, it will show half of it on the main monitor and half of it on the side monitor. So I just select it to show in a specific position. You can also configure it to see the CPU temperature, but it's not going to see it here because it's a virtual machine, so it can't really read it. Now I also have a bit of text in here. In order to do that, you have to add a widget, get new widget, and the widget is called output command. You just install it from here, and since we are here, let's also install panel colorizer. I'll show you in a bit what it does. The panel colorizer, you can further configure how your panel looks. Let's select a pre-built right here, and you can see it changed the shape, the color. You can deactivate it from here, and you can create your own appearance. Important to note that you will have to use this widget on every panel because it doesn't configure all of them, just the one that it's used on. And the last thing, if you see here in my main machine, the way the windows are basically faked maximized, because this is how a normal maximize look, and this is how I set it up to be. In order to do that, on a fresh installed, the hotkey is Windows T to select tiles. I just deleted the secondary and third tile and left just the one in the middle, and then I went to system settings, to shortcuts, and search for custom tile, quick tile right here, and I put it to window F. I apply it, and now the fake maximize, you can see here, this is how it looks, but the panel isn't floating. To make the panel float, you have to again open with Windows T and put the padding to 17. And now when I fake maximize the window, you can see the panels stay floating. And that's about it. I basically have achieved the same look that I have on my main machine. Oh, something else, actually, I just remembered that. I have two instances of Dolphin opened, right? This one and here. When I click on the taskbar, on the icon, you can see that it cycles between them. On my main machine, I have a different effect. In order to achieve it, you right click, configure icons only task manager, you go to behavior and change this option like right here, clicking grouped tasks, and select show large windows previews. And now when I click on it, it shows me in a grid like this. And if I open multiple, the grid also changes. So that is really nice for window management, in my opinion. I say that it's pretty much the same setup. So yeah, I hope this video will help you understand why I prefer KDE so much. It's very easy to use, very easy to customize. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.